Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to be discussing the market crash amid tariff war concerns. Again, this feels like a song and dance we've already heard and seen. We're going to talk about the death of the Claude meme coin meta, RIP, maybe basically one day of that. And then we're going to talk about some trouble for the Clarity Act continuing to face issues. GM, thank you all for listening today. If you're listening over on X, drop us a like, bookmark, give us a comment, retweet us, push us out there in the algorithm. If you're listening over on YouTube, drop a comment, let us know what you are trading in this down market for now. And if you're over on Zora, where we are live streaming again, we've gotten everything straightened out over there, and we are streaming each and every day to Zora. Drop a comment. Let us know you are there. We'll be checking out the Zora comments today as well. I'm joined today by Sig. It's been a week since we've talked to you, Sig. How are you feeling? How have you been navigating the markets?
Feeling nauseous, Ray. What the hell is going on with your camera? It looks like it's doing like some kind of 80s robotic dancing, and every time it moves to is it tracking your head or tracking your eyes?
It's tracking my head. I don't know why it just started doing this again, but I need to download the software, and it basically like turns off the auto follow.
Oh, there we go again. Yeah, you're going to have to keep your head extremely straight for the next 60 minutes so that the audience doesn't feel like they're going to be sick. It's like when you call somebody on their iPhone and they're like walking around the room doing their thing, and you're like, dude, man, you're making me nauseous. Okay, can we just take a straight call? Honestly, so apart from your camera making me feel a bit sick, apart from that, weekend was good. Not much happening except Sunday night yesterday when obviously Trump just went on. Like he's been on a streak. I don't know what he ate over the Christmas period, but he just seems to be on fire. So obviously we've got Greenland coming up now. So that's all in the news. We'll see what happens there. Things are beefing up between the NATO members. Other than that, I wasn't in the Trove sort of business. I'm not part of that, but I saw what happened over the weekend. For a quiet January weekend, or for a quiet January, it's actually been a lot of fun, the market so far.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Crazy stuff going on with the Trove. I'm in the middle of that, so we'll break that down today as well. Easy, how was your weekend?
Good.
Nice. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. a man of many words.
A man of, especially many words on a podcast. It's great when you just get one word syllables.
Oh yeah, it was fun. I can't complain. We're crushing these Netflix markets, which feels good.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. You've been really crushing it there.
Yeah, this last week kind of like hit a turn on it. The tough part is though, when you have an algorithm that you build by yourself that essentially works and is in a state where you don't want to mess with it because you want to backtest it. Now I'm like, shit, what do I code? Because I don't want to go and like mess it up until I see what the final results are Tuesday, so I can accurately backtest and like figure out how to improve. So for like the last 2 days, I like forked it and just started messing with other stuff because I didn't want to mess with it because I liked the state it was in. So yeah, truthfully, it's been a little bit boring for me because I've enjoyed like 12 to 14-hour days of working with Claude code on stuff. But yeah, it feels pretty good to get some wins. Memes heated up on Friday and then fell off a cliff Saturday and Sunday, so that happened. The Trove situation was crazy because I was excited about it, and yet at the same time, didn't get compensated. Well, it seems like half the world did. So I'm like, God damn it. That sucks. Because I like the idea of it. Is Ray frozen?
I think Ray's frozen. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, Ray's back.
Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna just do a little quick fix here.
All right.
Okay. Fine. Ray will be back. Easy.
He's actually gonna stay there. Yeah.
What's been going on with your wins there? What tell me your bets. What have you got going on?
I took the rip for movie of the week, and then Agatha Christie's 7 Dials for the #2 US Netflix show over 11/22/63. And we saw some fuckery go down with the movie markets or the TV show markets for the #2. 2 whales were just bidding 11/22/63 up extremely high. And I just kept looking at the data and I was like, this show is dropping in interest pretty aggressively. I don't know why these people are so confident it'll do well. And I was able to pick up like a ton of shares sub 60 cents. It's now trading at 80. So I'm like, yeah,
nice.
that's great. And I'm going to hold to resolution because I am fairly sure that it will trade at $1 tomorrow. Because even right now, it's number 2 US. The rip was like, that was the easiest lock of my life. The thing I've learned with these markets though is like, just don't limit bid them. Take the minute, market, don't market buy, limit buy. So like take a minute, limit bid it, wait to see if it gets filled, trade it slow. And that's like exactly what I did. So you have the whole week for it to kind of like play out. And I'd much rather trade that way and kind of wait. So
Are you watching the stuff that you bet on?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It like gives me a reason to watch. I'm not good with TV or movies, like historically ever. But trading these markets now, I'm like, I feel like I'm obligated to watch these. I haven't watched 7 Dials yet. It's only 3 episodes, but truthfully, it does not look good. But Agatha Christie's like a big household name with a few million followers.
Definitely.
The show that's winning, however, His and Hers, is extremely good. Like that's
His and Hers. Okay.
Number one TV show.
If you need any insights around Emily in Paris, I got you.
Good. I also need Bridgerton insights. I don't understand what Bridgerton is. Season 4 drops on the 29th. What's funny about this is like you can't even. Yeah. So like His and Hers is like even more of a lock than the Rip, and the Rip is more or less a lock. But Bridgerton drops on the 29th. So I'm like trying to do some research about how big the previous seasons were. Seems like it was pretty big. So I think that from a TV standpoint, it could do well. We'll see.
Yeah, Bridgerton's really big, like really, really big. I guess it depends what it's up to, but I just love that you found a niche where you found a way to pay yourself for watching TV. I got to say, that's pretty damn creative.
Feels like. Yeah, it's like I'm incentivized to go watch this stuff while also like doing due diligence on like certain things, and like it's been fun in that capacity. And now I'm almost at a point where I'm like, damn, what market do I expand to next? Because we've had 2 like really good weeks with this. Next week will be a big challenge because there's a one-off on Netflix. But enough about prediction markets and TV. We gotta talk about the market. As I could get about this all day. My buddies, by the way, real quick tangent. My buddies texted me and asked like, I'm in like a group chat with like my college friends, and they were like, "Have you seen The Rip?" And I went off on a tangent about what it was and how big it was and all this stuff and Netflix's market budget. And they were like, "Are you good?" I was like, "Oh, sorry." Like I'm in this like deep rabbit hole about like Netflix marketing budgets, how it's gonna be number 1, and I actually now have them playing next week. Like they're like, "Oh shit, this is actually cool. Like we're game. Send us the pics. Send them the website." Like they're like interested now because I just went on this like crazy tangent where they were like, "Have you seen The Rip?" I was like, "Oh yeah, da 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 da." And then I was like, "Have you guys seen His and Hers?" Which is like the TV show. And one of them was like, "No, my wife was watching it. Like, any good?" I was like, "Oh, dude, it was sick." Like, da 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 da, like all this stuff about the actors and who made it and stuff. Like, I'm really nerding out.
Do you know who you can add as a title on your CV? It's like Rotten Tomato critique or IMDb. Either Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. I don't know which one. But like I feel you could become a commentator, like a critique.
100%. 100%. Like that's the thing. That was actually the funny part was I was like, yeah, so it has like a peer review score of like 62, but the critics are giving it like an 87. Like it's really strong. Jude Blunt or whatever, Joe Blunt, whatever the guy's name is, the actor, is dominating. Hasn't been in something recently. Some really exciting stuff for it. So it's been fun. Next week I'm like more excited because there's like some stuff coming in that I'm like curious how it'll affect the market. There's this guy climbing the tallest building in Taiwan. Taipei 1, and it's gonna be on Netflix, but I don't know if they're gonna market it as a movie or a TV show. Because
so my 2026 prediction is you're gonna end up pivoting from this into somehow interviewing celebrities who are Netflix show producers. That's my 2027 prediction for you. Yeah, that'd be very cool. That'll be very cool. Anyway, Ray, you're back. Let's get back to crypto before this turns into like a Netflix YouTube channel.
All right, let's take it away with a little weather report here, and then we'll dive into it.
Let's take it away. So, looking at the weather report as I bring it up on Monday, January 19th, looking at that crypto roundup, the majors fell later into the weekend with Bitcoin back below 93K, Ethereum at 3,200, Solana at 133, and Hype below $24. Over the past weekend, firstly, crypto pulled back as 900 million was liquidated overnight. Equity futures fell, as well as the EU prepared retaliatory tariffs in response to Trump's Greenland threats. Next up, the Clarity Act is facing more trouble as the White House and Coinbase are reportedly at odds after Coinbase pulls support. Senate leaders also push back on the bill. And then finally, WalletConnect launched their WalletConnect Pay, crypto payments point of sale product. This will allow crypto payments at 40 million point of sale terminals in 120 plus countries. That is all for the weather report, folks. It is back to you in the studio.
Excellent weather report as always, Signal. Some juicy news today. This WalletConnect story is pretty big. I've already seen like some crypto point of sale apps out there at a local Walmart. I could have paid with crypto, which is pretty cool. But this is like a pretty big deal for adoption because a lot of time people are pointing at like crypto like, oh, that's like not real, that's funny money. But when you can start just taking your crypto direct to store and paying with it like you're paying out of your bank account, that's a very big value proposition shift for kind of the normie audience. Curious if you've seen this, Sig, or like what your take is here on
I
this.
saw the article, but I haven't seen any real life terminals. It'd be one of those things. It's like it's the classic Bitcoin pizza where you like go and pay for something, and then 6 months later you're like, "Oh, I can't believe I paid what would be now the equivalent of probably like $3,000 for something, and you've like basically lost a bunch of money." I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I kind of want to keep paying in fiat. I don't want to pay in crypto. Also, I would just lose like that. Like that would be it. Like my crypto would just become disposable income and out of the window, because you would spend it when it's a bear market and you're like, oh, all of this is worthless. And then all you had to wait was like 9 to 10 months and it's, gone back up in value. So I don't know how I feel about spending my crypto in IRL, but I love it as a way for normies who probably have like a small amount and want to kind of get rid of it at some point in time to be able to just put it out there.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I think being able to use crypto in a pinch is very interesting, and being able to just pay direct is cool. I know when the first crypto cards came out, I think Avalanche had one, and that was pretty awesome to be able to spend stable coin wherever you could use debit payments. So I thought that was great. Any thoughts here on this news, Easy, before we move on?
I think it's good. I'm like, more ways for people to use crypto in some capacity is very interesting. I'm not like, I've seen WalletConnect Pay before, WalletConnect before. I haven't actually used it, but it seems like it just connects to everything. Seems pretty easy, right? Like, I think we're just going to continue to see more of this. In truth, though, I would much rather just use a card than a wallet, because like connecting my wallet to stuff is always kind of a concern. Like, just give me a card that pulls from my crypto balance, and that's sick. Like, that's a much easier situation.
Maybe that's the next step for WalletConnect down this road. WalletConnect does have a token, WCT token. This one launched November of last year. Is that right? Or at least that's when it started getting tracked on Gemini. I'm not sure when this token. Let's look at the Binance. Maybe that's got some longer history. All right, so it's been around for almost a year. I mean, it's at basically lows that we've seen for almost every one of these crypto tokens. Do you have any interest in a WalletConnect token with news like this, with a big rollout?
No. What's the reason that it would increase in value?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like, sure, fee generation, but buybacks are a lie. No one actually gives a shit about them, especially if price doesn't move. Look at Hyperliquid. Look at some of this other shit. If price doesn't go up, people are not even like a fan of buybacks, which is crazy to me. Because I'm like, this stuff is still good. Like, buybacks are still bullish. If price doesn't go up immediately, people don't care. So that's the world that we live in, Raymond.
I think that sounds fair. Do you have any interest in the WalletConnect token, Sig, here?
No, I have no interest. There's other stuff that I would buy before I'd buy a WalletConnect token. It just feels like in the world of like racing towards tokenization, you're just going to be saturated with every option in the world of what you can buy as a token, and WalletConnect is not going to be in my top 10. It just would never be in my top 10, especially like when you can get tokenized equities probably within the next 18 months. So I'd be more likely to buy that than a random wallet token.
Yeah, that feels fair. I've now pivoted over to the Bitcoin chart as we failed to close the week outside of this range we've been living in. People are pointing to tariffs heating up between the US and EU over the Greenland situation. Kind of stinks. We were broken out of this range for a good amount of time and then just had it all pulled back on Sunday. We went from, almost 95.5K on Bitcoin, and then we closed all the way down at under 94K. More chop easy. Continue to live in this range until we close a weekly over 94.
That is the sad reality, man.
We're at the upper end of this range. Would you consider shorts here, sitting on your hands? What's your play?
I'm just not trading it. Somebody asked me the other day, like, how often I look at crypto prices. Dude, it's been a while. Like, I don't even think I've really like looked at them like last month. And that scroll out. Like, in the last month, have they really changed?
This is weekly here. I mean, no. We've been in the weekly. We've been in this range. It's been.
It just hasn't mattered.
Yeah.
It has not mattered. So I'm almost at a point where I'm like, truthfully, what I want to do is spend more time looking at other ecosystems, like looking at dApps, looking at stuff. Dude, there's stuff that's launching every day, and I just haven't had a pulse on a lot of stuff. Like, I like, that's what I found about Trove, even though all this FUD, and like, I think they're like completely fucking up right now. Excuse my French. Moving to Solana, selling Hyperliquid and all this other shit. I'm like, you guys are just shooting yourselves in the foot. This looks like a grift. The idea of the platform was very cool, though. The fact I could long One Piece cards without having to buy One Piece while it was pumping was pretty interesting. Same idea with Pokemon. Like, I don't need to go out and learn everything about these RWAs and collectibles, but I can trade them. CSGO skins, stuff like that is really interesting to me because it's alternative asset classes, and those usually outpace traditional asset classes. So I'm really interested in that stuff, and I'm hoping after this company raised a boatload of money, some good founder who's known in the space and shows their face almost where like I am right now is like, I'd want them to show their face because Trove is such a dumpster fire that I would be more interested in it. Like, the idea of this is really cool to me.
Yep, I was interested too. I bought some in the ICO.
I'm just pissed, dude. I was bull posting it because I was genuinely excited. Turns out I could have got $45,000 for a bull post.
Yeah, unreal. Undisclosed bull post going for $45,000.
My ass is over here doing it for free, just genuinely excited about buying trading cards on leverage. I'm like, oh, this is sick. Awesome. Maybe I could buy like collectible cars, high-end vehicles. Maybe I could buy like Rolexes, stuff like that I'm interested in, that like those markets move. And sure enough, I'm over here like, this is a cool idea. I mean, I would have even taken the whale rate and gotten 8K. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Let's go through what happened here step by step if you haven't been following along. So they had their ICO. They crossed over $11 million raised about a week ago, and then they went with a very controversial path of extending the ICO. And right before they made this announcement, prediction markets surged with insiders buying. They will raise over X amount on the Poly market. So controversy there. And then they walked it back saying they wouldn't be extending.
Easy, the typing easy. I can't hear Rayman. It's I literally cannot hear Rainman. I can just hear. Ray, continue, please.
The next prompt up in the vibe code is going through. So then over the weekend, they said, hey, you know what? We're going to be launching on Solana, not on Hyper EVM, which is where they were originally going to launch, which made this interesting. And then news came out that they unstaked their hype. They were selling their hype that was basically the way that the HIP-3 works on Hyperliquid, which is the protocol that allows you to introduce markets into Hyperliquid core. So when you see all these equities trading on Hyperliquid, they all go through this HIP-3 process, and you need to hold a certain amount of hype as a company to be able to access these markets. So they began to sell some of their stash of Hyperliquid. It was exposed on the timeline last night, and they got called out on it. And I think they dropped a pretty famous or going to be famous line. We're not selling our hype. Our liquidity providers are like nervous or something like that. It was like some wild wild line. I gotta find the post, but yeah, not good, not a good look all around. Pivoting from hyperliquid to Solana, selling hype, like it all really doesn't look great. Here's a screenshot. No, we're not selling. LP is a bit nervous. So that one might go down in history. As somebody who is invested, although not very largely, into the ICO, I can only at this point laugh at just the incompetence that's been going on over there. So TGE will be 9 p.m. UTC today. I think that's roughly 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere in that range. So keep a look on this if you did contribute to this ICO. Hopefully some money can come back out of it. I think the poly markets on this have a pretty bearish outlook on FDV coming out. This was a $20 million FDV raise, and now it looks like there's a 77% going to be under 10 million at launch. So not quite the launch they're going to be hoping for, not quite the launch that ICO participants are going to be hoping for. So we'll keep track of this one as we go live later today. We'll probably talk about how it goes tomorrow, give a little post-mortem there. Moving on though.
That's nasty.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
What bad news do we want to talk about after this Trove scam?
Oh, you know what? Like when I see these situations, first of all, like if you got to get in the game on this, like wish you luck and best of luck in getting out. And I hope you haven't been affected too much by this. But at the same time, I'm like, God damn it, the benchmark in crypto is so low. Sometimes it feels so low. It's just like, surely there is a team out there that can just execute well, have a good product, and just do what it says on the tin. Like, this is the tin, this is what they said they're going to do, and just execute it. And when I see cases like this, it just always gives me more confidence in founders like OSF with what they're doing with the rectoring, because there's actual real execution there. And I think it makes those kind of founders who are still like very loud, even when markets are not great, about what they're doing, look even stronger than they are, because this is what they're up against. And it's very easy to spot the winners. So it's a pity this has happened, but I guess it's also like a very clear sign of who are the real contenders of 2026 across the space. They should be pretty easy to identify now.
Yeah, I'm nervous that the more scams you see, the more people are saying crypto is a scammy place, and it's attracting teams that are scammy teams, and you're losing like that real talent to AI or something else that's being built not in crypto but in tech. So that concerns me a bit.
I think that's a very, very justified concern, that people who come into the space who are new or just get fatigued by the fact that they have it's either A, really easy to extract money, or B, you have a community that just doesn't value they don't value what you're building, and they're just demanding like price go up, price go up, price go up. I can definitely see, smart founders being like, this is a waste of my time, I'm going to go somewhere else. But I think for the ones that stick around, they're the ones that are going to be the most successful. And those are the ones that we should put our attention to. And there's still a lot of interesting stuff coming, but this is just always like a strong reminder of like, just bet on the most obvious winners, because we'll look back in 12 to 18 months and be like, God, that was so obvious. Like, that was the team that was going to win.
Speaking of obvious winners, silver and gold continuing to just go up and to the right. Silver is at all-time highs right now, almost $94. Gold hit another all-time high over the weekend. Precious metals, as a fight against inflation, continuing to go up and right. I mean, this feels like another one that just like was very obvious as soon as like you look at the global setup with M2 money supply hitting new highs, inflation hitting new highs, looking at rate cuts coming in, like gold and silver felt like obvious bets. Are they going to continue to be obvious bets in a world where we're expecting to just see hyperinflation? So I know we all point to Bitcoin as being like the ultimate inflation hedge, but like what the precious metals at this point seem to be almost the better options. And like, what is a responsible like Bitcoin to gold ratio you should be holding as kind of like somebody who doesn't want to go all in crypto and wants to have like a balanced financial portfolio? I don't know how you think about metals versus Bitcoin, Sig, but I'm like getting more and more concerned about how leveraged I am into crypto as an inflation hedge versus other means.
Yeah, I'm not like to be honest, I don't really think of my Bitcoin as my inflation hedge play per se. What I am thinking about when I see metals like gold and silver just going on an absolute tear is like it's a complete reflection of what's happening geopolitically. Gold and silver will most likely continue to have an upward leg as tensions between the US and China continue. I don't think this is the end of Trump's play to go after Greenland. What he's done in Venezuela is not over as well. We still need to see what the US is going to do with Venezuelan resources. Greenland, I suspect, will probably see what's going to play out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But Trump has some very bold goals on his agenda when he was running for president. He did talk about Greenland before. This is not the first time he's spoken about it. He's also talking about like Canada before becoming part of the US, and he's kind of going after all the things that he said he was going to do, but everybody just sort of like laughed it off. And as we see the US becoming more aggressive, we're seeing US instruments like US treasuries being used as sort of a weapon in being able to sell off and then diverting into gold. So I think gold and silver and the metals are still a very good play for this year. Bitcoin for me, more and more I'm kind of seeing them as sort of uncorrelated at this point. But I'm also seeing metals as like part of a basket of assets. It's not just like I'm going to keep accumulating as much gold as possible. Personally, I've held gold for probably over 7 years now, so I don't need to keep adding it. However, what is interesting right now is you can obviously add gold on chain and you can do more things with it, which you couldn't have done sort of 7 years ago. But I do see the geopolitical landscape not quieting down. This is going to continue to escalate, and as it continues to escalate, we're going to continue to see gold and silver go up.
I tend to agree. Easy. Are you holding any gold and silver? Do you look at them as an inflation hedge? Do you get concerned about Bitcoin versus them at all? Like, what's your thought process here?
I don't hold either right now. I do think that, like, in general, they're good inflation hedges, yeah. But overall, I don't think it's worth it to worry too much. I think one's a lagging indicator for the other. Like, I still think Bitcoin is in the same bucket. It's still new. Like, it's only 10 years old. Gold's been around for how many hundreds of years at this point? So that's how I view it, is like the majority of the market still feels safer there, with the dollar losing its value. So I do think eventually that'll shift. But right now it's not in an area for me to be like, okay, we should really just be worried that one's moving and the other's not.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree. I think that gold versus Bitcoin will level off this year. I actually think that Bitcoin's going to outperform gold this year, but we'll have to see. I mean, a lot of it's going to depend on crypto regulation. And speaking of crypto regulation, it's not a pretty sight right now. Coinbase and the White House kind of going at it. I think seeing reports that Trump and the White House are pretty much blinded or like blindsided by Coinbase coming out and, saying, hey, we can't support this Clarity Act under under the changes that were made, pointing at stuff like basically almost banning on-chain equities, the yield issue where they can't offer yield as a stablecoin provider. So reports came out that the White House is furious with Coinbase's decision to walk away from the bill, basically saying it's the White House just like may even pull support for the bill like after this. So continue to see issues here. I think this is going to be like the pivotal, like major moving news story for crypto in terms of like the legislation. So like this needs to get across the board before midterms, and it needs to get across the board in a way that people are happy. And I think it just with this kind of fighting right now, it's going to hopefully accelerate the process, maybe get both sides at the table and kind of figure out, hey, like we need this to get across. It's something that Trump's been pushing. It's probably gonna be one of his legacy bills on crypto, and all of the exchanges and players, stakeholders on the crypto side really want to get this across in a way that kind of levels the playing field and gives them more clarity on what they can do. Curious if you have any concerns here, Sig, or what your overall thought process is with this Clarity Act and the drama kind of swirling around it.
I love how the White House called it a rug pull. You can see they're in the trenches over this. Look, I support Brian Armstrong in his view of trying to protect the industry. He has been the strongest advocate for like the entire industry since, through everything essentially. And he also understands like they have to set the benchmark at a certain point. If they don't come to an agreement on certain points, it means going forward, it's going to be harder and harder to push those points across. So it's better for an entire bill, which he says, right, I'm 100% happy with this. Okay, maybe we weren't able to get some of the minor points, but we were able to get the major points. Because don't forget, like going forward, a new president can come in and just unwind the entire bill, right? But if that figure was to come in and just unwind the entire bill, it's much harder to do that when you've managed to have 3 to 4 years of everybody agreeing on the main points, rather than pushing through 50% of the act and then in 4 years time or 3 years time trying to get the other 50% across the table. It's going to be much, much harder. So look, there's just more negotiation to happen here. I think by the midterms, and I agree with you, Ray, there needs to be a definitive decision on this so that Trump can turn around and say, look, this is what we've done for the crypto industry. He has said that he wants America to be the number one place for crypto and attracting crypto talent and crypto companies. And in order to do that, this act needs to go through with Coinbase's support.
Yep, I think I can agree with that, Sig. Anything to add, Easy?
No, not too much. I think in general, too, right now, it's like this Clarity Act bill. It was interesting to see Coinbase kind of dunk on the current bill that's being pushed. I'm interested in that. It was interesting to then see the White House push back on that. So, like, clearly they're aware of it, but I do think we need something that's actually valuable. You know what I mean? Like, something that's not going to push banks into a spot where they're in a better situation and in turn just have the ecosystem be in a better situation. So I was glad that they actually stood up and were like, we're not backing this bill. Like, nope, that's it. I was like, good. This is very good. Overall, though, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. So I don't know how a lot of this stuff moves and goes. But for me, anything that'll actually make crypto be in a more positive light is a win.
Just a dog on the internet.
That's it. Just a dog on the internet.
Speaking of positive impacts on crypto, big news coming out of the New York Stock Exchange this morning, looking to build a digital platform that's going to enable tokenized trading experiences, including 24/7 operations, instant settlement, order sized in dollar amounts, stablecoin-based funding. Its design combines New York Stock Exchange cutting-edge pillar matching engine with blockchain-based post-trade systems, including the capability to support multiple chains for settlement and custody. This is some pretty big news for crypto rails. 24/7 tokenized stock trading coming from the New York Stock Exchange. This has to have you pretty interested, Easy. Do you think this brings like a good amount of liquidity on chain? If you're going to have, I imagine institutions are going to want to have access to the 24/7 trading.
Oh, for sure.
Continue to go to sleep when markets close and wake up when markets open. So if we're doing all the settlement on chain, is this going to bring new capital on chain to kind of trickle down potentially?
Here's hoping. Like, that would be great. It's going to be very interesting to see if this actually picks up steam or if it's just going to be a low liquidity environments, right? Because low liquidity environments, you get like some pretty crazy wicks. But if more volume is moving to 24/7 trading and they open it up to a wider audience, you're going to have equities trade basically in line with crypto versus futures markets, which are now just retail markets.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone can trade 24/7, it's going to definitely shake up how markets react. Because I mean, we saw what happened last night. Like crypto and equities didn't have a chance to react until CME futures opened, and when that happened, everything nuked red last night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Everyone's always looking there, but with efficient 24/7 always on markets, you're gonna maybe lose some of that volatility, or like those volatility spikes, it might be smoothed out a little bit. And I have to think that's bullish for crypto in a world where we continue to see these massive liquidation numbers due to like intense volatility, and a lot of the volatility is coming around the macro markets and the macro movement. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Anything you want to add on this, Sig? Pretty big story, I think, coming out.
I really love this story. It's going to be interesting because you see people like Trump making massive sweeping headlines like the Greenland news over the weekends. And like you're saying, nothing happens, nothing really moves. And you kind of have to wait until the futures market opens for you to kind of see what are people thinking about the news. And so it will be interesting to see how real time news affects the markets, and being able to look at that on a weekend, on a Saturday or Sunday. It'll be interesting to see as well, like will banks and asset managers start hiring traders to be actually working on Saturdays or Sundays? Or will it just sort of like be automated? I don't know. I think this opens up a whole can of worms, because it means if one big player decides like, yeah, we're going to go all in on the weekends and we're going to be having flow, and then the rest of the street follows, that basically means everyone's working Monday to Sunday. Like the financial markets don't close, which is a very weird concept. And I think it has an impact. But I need to dig into this story more to look at how they're looking to bring this product to the market.
Yeah, I think I need to as well. I think there's going to be less people in the office and more AI agents in the office going forward too, as we continue to see vibe coding and AI tools accelerate. I think a lot of these workflows where you're like, oh no, we have to work 24/7 now, are going to be handled by increasing amount of AI agents. So we'll see how that kind of ties in to the whole always on markets. Have some bullish news for Ethereum coming out. Ethereum's been kind of outperforming over the last month or so, continuing to see new records in transactions. So the 7-day moving average for transactions on ETH is almost 2.5 million. This is a record high. It's nearly double where we were a year ago. Gas fees have also dropped to the lowest amount in the network's recent history. So 15% or 15 cents for a transaction. This makes me cry when I look at my history of spending gas, which is over 61 ETH worth of gas on one wallet. So transaction fees are low. Transaction volume is high. Stablecoin transfers are making up most of this volume. So love to see this. Like, this is all very bullish news for Ethereum scaling and Ethereum adoption. Like, having to pay a lot of money to do things is not ideal if you're trying to sell crypto as like the fee-free, middleman-free solution to your payments. So great to see this. Great to see that Ethereum's positioning itself to continue to be dominant. And in terms of price action, bullish catalyst on the staking queue. This was a huge concern earlier as the exit queue flipped the entry queue ahead of the crash 1010. This is reflipped now. Entry queue is hitting basically multi-year highs, and the exit queue is at 0. So more people are staking and locking up their ETH than are leaving. The people who are leaving are almost being served instantly right now because there's not as many of them. So this is super interesting to watch. Follow along for ETH price action. Where are you positioned, Sig? I don't know like how you view ETH versus Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Are you positioned like percentage wise, like in the ETH, like a decent amount? Are you more of a Solana bull? Like how do you view the different like kind of majors coming into this year?
So coming into this year, Bitcoin's still number one for me. I still really like Solana. And ETH, I sold off quite a bit last year, but I still hold a bag. I can't, I'm not going to sell the rest of the ETH that I hold, because ETH to 10K, especially at 15 cents per block. And at the same time, the top technologies are still being built on top of it. And as that continues to happen, I'm still going to bet on the chain, because there are teams like MegaETH who they could have done anything. They could have done absolutely anything. And they've chosen to go essentially building on top of like building on top of Ethereum and scaling on top. And as far as I'm concerned, if I'm still seeing that kind of momentum, I'm going to continue to make my bets there. I'm not going to add any more bets, but I'm going to keep the bag that I hold, but also not going to stress over it. Crypto is going to go up, crypto is going to go down, and just being like very relaxed about the movement. And when I see a substantial dip this year, because I do think geopolitically there's going to be some interesting times this year. Don't know when, but I still think that when that happens, it's a time to be buying your favorite majors and all your favorite alts. And I would add a small bag of everything at that point when you see the sell-off. How are you thinking about in 2026? I haven't actually had this conversation with you about how you're thinking about the majors and alts.
I think I like Ethereum coming in this year. I think it's well positioned. I think people are going to continue to buy into it. It's going to continue to get the institutional serious capital behind it. I think that Solana can seriously compete depending on their BD and like who's building on Solana versus Ethereum. So that's going to be one to watch. I think alts outpace Bitcoin this year. I think at some point Bitcoin dominance flips into a downtrend. I think that happens this year, and I think we see alts outpace it at some point. I don't know what point that is. But I do like Ethereum here. I mean, this is pretty bullish on the daily starting around Christmas. It's been in an uptrend despite a good amount of volatility. So I like ETH. I'm positioned like stables and ETH alongside like, my Bitcoin bag, Hyperliquid bag. Not in many other plays like deeper down the risk curve right now. Anything I'm taking down the risk curve in the trenches gets put right back into USDC or if it's Solana from a trading bot. But positioning in terms of majors for this year, I'm bullish ETH over Solana.
You're bullish ETH over Solana. Okay.
All right. So we talked about ETH.
No, go ahead, Ray.
You go ahead, Sig.
No, I was going to say, given the sell-off that we've had last year, there's definitely some risk on space for all of these assets to appreciate, because it went down so much and it hasn't fully corrected. And we've only got mild like on Bitcoin side, we've only got mild resistance around 100K. Like above 100, like above 105, then it gets a lot harder. And then obviously trying to go back to all-time highs is like, there's a lot of resistance there. But I do think that we will at some point break this crab walking that we've been doing between like 90 to 95, 96K. We are going to break out of this, and I think it'll be about trying to get back over 100K, and I think that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin also looking good on the daily, higher lows since right around that Christmas period. So hopefully this maintains, and this is the week we finally break out. A lot of macro turmoil, though, coming this week. So we'll have to see how that goes. Speaking of Bitcoin, big buy by Steak and Shake, $10 million worth of Bitcoin for its strategic reserve. And then Sailor is teasing bigger.
Man, Steak and Shake hits too. I'm telling you, good food.
I don't think I've ever had Steak and Shake. I need to try it out.
Did you see the poly market for this? Will MicroStrategy announce a Bitcoin buy today?
They shouldn't, right? Like, because the market's
a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So PO posted it was at like 21% yesterday. Oh man, you could have got this 2 days ago at 70%. So like that was a great no buy, knowing that they're a publicly traded company. I commented on it and was like, I don't think they announce it. Historically, they don't announce it on holidays. And they announce it between 8 and 8:30 in the morning Eastern time, right before market open. They did not announce it today. So the likelihood is they will be announcing it tomorrow. Yeah, 98% chance that they announce it.
What? Damn, because we talked about this opportunity on the show before, because this has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has happened before. Like, how did this happen again is my question. Wow. Yeah, I mean, this is a no-brainer. I wish I looked at this.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, mark your calendars. Find the next Monday U.S. holiday on the calendars.
And just hammer the no.
And get ready to watch for that MicroStrategy market to
just throw some bids in. Everything's bids, man. That's how you should be trading it.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely free. We've covered this before. This is a no-brainer. How much volume has been on this? Yeah, $340,000 worth of volume. You probably could have got a sizable position here at 75, 80%. So you're looking at a 5x on anything you got in between, January 12th and January 15th. Like that's a long period of time to be accumulating those no positions. Love to see that. But this is an interesting one, and maybe part of the reason we saw Bitcoin pump so much last week. Sailor is saying bigger orange, leading people to believe he's going to have a bigger Bitcoin buy last week than this week. Last week they purchased $1.2 billion worth, which was the most since July of last year. So could be a very big buy. And I think we've seen like a number of these price jumps on Bitcoin sort of match up with Sailor buys. If you're looking at like weekly candles on Bitcoin, like last week had a huge candle with a very big like supposed buy. Previous week as well was a decent sized Bitcoin buy. It brought us from the middle of this range all the way up to the top before pulling back. So when Sailor buys, it tends to have some volatility on the Bitcoin chart. So interested to see what he announces, and then more so if he's going to be buying more this week, because I think if he continues these accelerated buys, you're going to see us get out of this range sooner rather than later. A lot of words there. Any takes on Sailor's effect on Bitcoin price? Thoughts on Bitcoin here? Do you think we get out of this range this week, Sig?
I don't know about out of this range this week. I'm going to take the no on that. But out of this range this quarter, yes, I do. I'm not saying we're going to run back up to 115K. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think we can break 100 and then just sort of like continue to crab walk in this area. This right now is just about patience and just kind of not getting flabbergasted by tiny movements of Bitcoin moving $500 in either direction. It's interesting to see that they're still accumulating here. I think his average buy, the last time I checked, his average buy was 75K, and I imagine it's still hovering around that. I don't believe we're going to be going down to like 70. Like at the end of the day, if you look at things geopolitically, there's no point to NATO nations going at war with each other. That just like totally does not make any sense. Trump wants a resolution out of this, and he's using the tariffs for negotiation. And I think the market just gets a little bit of jitters every time he starts doing things sort of erratically. And then we're seeing him being very aggressive, kind of like building up to things. But price action wise, Bitcoin hasn't really moved that much. And I think that's a good thing, because a couple of years ago, Bitcoin would have tanked a lot more. And now it's kind of like, meh. And I think as participants in the markets, that's kind of how we should be. It's a nice time to be DCAing if that's what you want to do. Trading it, I'll leave that to the experts like Easy to. It's pretty hard to take a direction right now. But I also think there's other more interesting stuff to be doing in crypto. I don't think you just need to be trading the Bitcoin chart. Because alts on Friday, like meme coins, they came back, resurfaced for a little bit of air, and then went back down again. So I think we just need a little bit of space, and it will come back.
Yeah, I want to go through some of the meme coin action we saw last week and where we are today. And during the Claude Mania on like Thursday, Friday, we saw the Gastown token go all the way up over 60 mil before dropping. Basically, the developer was like, hey, crypto is cool. Thanks for the money, but I've got to go work on this project now. I'm not going to be engaging with CT anymore. And that did not go over well with the market, as you see here. So this one went from a high of 60 mil all the way down below 2 mil at 1.4 mil now. Tomato is still going strong. We've been talking about this one. I haven't been following the storyline, what's going on with them, but this chart is one that has held up to the collapse. We talked about Ralph on Friday as well. This one with a fairly big drawdown, not as bad as we saw in gas, but this one's down almost 50% on the day for Ralph. And did you see this this cow token frog launchpad drama, Easy, over the weekend?
I did. Some like millionaire was basically pushing it up. 5% taxes. Thing was trading at like 20 mil. Fell off a cliff as the founder had launched like multiple other tokens. It was a mess. Absolute mess.
Yeah. So this guy Perpetual Cow, he's like a hyper liquid like a hyperliquid bull, essentially. He launched a Memecoin Launchpad called Fwog.fun. And this meme pad didn't get much traction, and the tokens didn't really necessarily run immediately. There was like a multi-day period where this thing kind of got up and running, and then all of a sudden this cow meme coin on there, which was named after the the founder, took off. And essentially they were saying, okay, well, like this is like the meme coin of the platform, blah blah blah. And then because the Fwog token will be launching on this like as a platform token, but this would be like a meme coin token on the platform. So lots of different nuance here. But what ended up happening is the dev basically came out on Sunday and said, oh, that cow token, I didn't launch that. Here's my own meme coin on the platform. This proceeded to send the cow token from 16 mil all the way down to below $1 million. He ended up launching and buying his own token, spent $200,000 to acquire 95% of the supply on the new token to supply control it. Old scamming playbooks, new meme coin launch pads. Who knows what's going to happen here? The new token's at a $92 million market cap. If you take him at his word that he's not selling any of this, it's about a 4.5 mil circulating market cap on this. But more drama in the meme coin trenches as we continue to see everyone get really excited to go on chain, pour money into the dumbest things, and then get surprised when the devs end up rugging them. Easy. Were you trading it all over the weekend in the trenches? Like I saw a bunch of stuff, but I didn't get like very, very active. What was your overall thoughts like on the weekend?
It was messy. I mean, Wednesday was the best day. Wednesday, Thursday were like two of the more profitable days. And then I've slowly just been giving it back to the market, sadly, because it's like all the AI stuff, you went from founders backing it, supporting tokens that are attached to them, and like essentially being like, yeah, we're on board with this. This is great. I've made $100,000. So now I don't have time to worry about crypto. I don't want to worry about crypto. Sorry. And it's like, oh shit. Okay. Like, damn, that's tough. We've seen a few derivatives launch like Grok Town and Eliza Town. Shaw's back with his own Gas Town iteration. Where are you familiar with the game Mafia?
Yeah, it's like a social deduction game.
Yeah, so he basically has AI agents playing Mafia in his version of it, which is kind of cool. It's like some GameFi game theory stuff, which I'm like, this is interesting. But overall, it's like it went from extremely hot to kind of want to just wait and hang out.
I got Gas Town set up on my local environment, and it's pretty cool. Regardless of what the token's doing, the software is nice for doing multi-step planning for coding. So I've been enjoying.
Man, I just run 2 different instances of VS Code and work on 2 projects simultaneously, like a real adult.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I don't do all this other mumbo jumbo.
Oh man, we're running up on an hour. We've got to head out of here. Thank you all for listening. As always, it's been a wonderful episode of the Daily Bone podcast. We do the show Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms. Watch us back on YouTube and Zora, where we stream each and every day. You can see what we're talking about in real time.